What's going on, guys? Pegasus from the Wise Guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub. Make sure you hit the bell. You see the new gear. We got masks. We got t-shirts. It's all kind of stuff. But we do have a free mask giveaway. All you have to do is like this video, comment on this video, and then leave a random number next to your name down in the comments. And one random number will be picked, and the closest one to that gets a free mask. All you got to do is send me the info, and I'll ship it to you. Literally, that's all you gotta do. You gotta pay for shipping though. You know, you may be way out somewhere. Anyways, we got a deck profile. It's time to get it. Let's get it. YG baby. Alrighty guys, it's deck profile time. Just a little bit of a side before I jump into it. I really just messed around with this deck and was just trying to come up with different variations of generator. I really enjoy the deck, and then something dawned on me. When I was watching a friend play Invoked. They were playing the Dogmatica stuff with Invoked, and it was, you know, they were just going off. And then I kind of looked down at Mechaba and I noticed he was a level 9. And that's where I came up with this deck. So let's just jump into it. I'm pretty sure it was an idea out there before, but it was the first time that I had seen it. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. So I played Triple Lopped here. He's the searcher for everything that is generator. He gets rid of a generator on their turn during their main phase, tributes a generator card, and then special summons a generator out of the deck. Really, really powerful on their turn. I'll tell you about a combo in a little bit. And he also gives all generators on their turn plus 1,000 attack only on their turn. Don't let somebody cheat you if you're playing against this deck. Next up, we got one of the best monsters in the game that nobody has a clue about. I always enjoy rogue decks with really powerful boss monsters, and you know, you've seen my Infernoid profiles. This guy is no different. He literally says if your opponent adds something, rip a monster out of their hand. If they activate anything, he's Omni Negate. Really, really powerful. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. You tribute 2 tokens to negate anything. Really, really powerful. And he's a spellcaster, so like, there's been some ideas for some cards that I'm gonna, you know, kind of be working with, and I may do another one of these profiles pretty soon. But love this card, man. Har is really, really, really powerful. The popular one that's all over Matt's, Mardell, one of the best looking cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. She searches anything generator, or she can just add a plant monster from your deck to your hand, which I feel like eventually that's really gonna matter. If we ever get any kind of really, really broken plant stuff, I mean, we have some broken plant stuff every once in a while, but it's never earth-shattering. She will definitely be relevant outside of this deck. So I've always thought that was really cool about her. Utgarda. So the thing about all the generators is they're all boss monsters in their own right, but they're kind of like knockoffs of other boss monsters of other decks. Hence the, you know, the theme behind the deck. Like this one is very similar to ABC Buster Dragon, because you tribute 2 generators or 2 rocks, and then you get to, it's and or. So when I say and, I also mean and, like and slash or. But banish a card completely off the field. Really, really powerful effect. It's most of the time you want to summon Har, but sometimes, like, I've already had Har on the field. This is the one you want to go into. Or if I know that my opponent is low on resources and they need the card that's on the field to do something, sometimes like Adamantipator, if I can snipe one of the analyzer or the researcher or the seeker, whatever deck I'm playing against, if I know that they absolutely need the card that's on the field and I don't need to negate anything, that's when you summon this one. And it's really, really powerful. Needhog. Needhog is the negated summon. I really like him. So most of those that I just showed, the big boss monsters, they tribute 2 monsters. So there's a lot of generators that I'm not going to talk about because it's not in my deck. But this one is one that a lot of people aren't playing. I feel like you should play it because it negates a summon. And it's really, really, it's like a solemn. You know, if they summon, you tribute 1. And that's really, really good. And it's really, really card economy. So when I get to the field spell, I'll explain more what I mean by, like, it's like shadow card economy that like can vanish. So you want to use it up as much as possible, but this card also allows you to have some flexibility on your turn. Really like the card. Hela, to round out all the generators. Hela is how you stay in the game and grind a little bit, because you tribute a generator or a zombie monster, and then you get to special summon one of these that's in your graveyard. So You know, if they end up in the graveyard and you need them back again to do something else, then you just summon Hela and pull them back onto the field. So I'm playing one. You can play two, but I feel like that gets kind of cloggy and bricky and weird. So the problem with Generator sometimes is the clogginess in the hand. Yes, there's cards to get rid of them, but it's also kind of like awkward. Shout out to the Wise Guys Matt, by the way. You know, we got all kind of merchandise all over the place. You saw we opened the video. Next up, we got my opinion, the best version of this deck is the Invoked version. I say the Invoked version because Mechaba's a 9. That's literally what it boils down to. He's so consistent and so powerful. And yes, like I could play other decks with Invoked and it would also be really, really strong. But like Generator is massively underrated because people don't really know what's going on. And that is very, very underrated in Yu-Gi-Oh! When people don't know what's going on, that's a really, really good thing to have in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I highly recommend this variant. And I highly recommend Generator in general. I really enjoy the deck. If you enjoy control decks, it's quietly one of the best ones that's out there. As far as hand traps, 3 Ash. Like I said, Ash is a deck building crutch, but it's like I play Purgatrio, so I kind of have to play it. There's some other ideas I have for cards. Double Nibiru and double Valor, and that's all my hand traps. I'd rather have the targets, you know, the light targets. Like if I actually like can't resolve the Alistair and I still have an invocation and I can't, you know, like sometimes you just need to get there. And then these are really, really powerful hand traps anyway. Like they're really, really powerful cards. So, you know, that goes without saying, but I don't want to keep seeing Valor because you can't quite control the same way outside of like what you're already doing with your Generator stuff. You can't control that well with the hand traps because it's not enough of a knockout punch from your hand trap. So you know it's weird to play hand traps in this deck because you want to just control the field, but you do have to play the hand traps. It's very similar to Guru Control. You have to play the correct hand traps. Getting into the meat and potatoes of the deck outside of that, Magical Meltdown and then Generator Boss Stage. Both of these field spells are insane. I wish the Terraform was in more than one. I'm not playing set rotation. You probably can. I could play other stuff with like the trap cards. You know, there's enough cards to get you to the boss stages, so you don't need to play set rotation. So that's my opinion on that. And then Magical Meltdown is Magical Meltdown. But after you've already resolved your fusion summon, it's kind of useless a little bit. So it works really, really well in tandem with this card because boss stage is how you're going to control the rest of the game. And it special summons. When you special summon, anytime your opponent draws outside of their draw, well, even in their draw phase, anytime your opponent draws, basically, you're going to special summon a Generator. And if you special summon a Generator, you're going to special summon a bunch of tokens. And those tokens create your massive card advantage in a shadow clone type of way. And then off of that, then you tribute the tokens and all that fake card economy. And then you punish your opponent for playing Yu-Gi-Oh, basically. Rest of the deck, triple invocation. People always ask me why I play 3. Every time I play anything invoked, I always play 3 because if I'm especially in a meta full of hand traps, if I'm in a meta full of hand traps, then I literally have to play 3 of these. My opinion, because if you get stopped, I still want to open this. Now, people will say that's bricky. That's your opinion. I also think you're a little bit correct, but at the same time, if you don't see this, then the rest of the point of the deck, I'm kind of screwed. So in my opinion, I feel like you need this card. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Generator Boss Quest. Boss Quest is, it's how you like unbrick yourself because you're going to draw the 9s. You know, I keep the engine small like you should in any Generator deck because you have to keep them small. But it says you reveal 1 Generator. Let me help you guys see a little bit. You reveal 1 Generator monster in your hand. And if you do, add up to 2 Generator spells or traps with different names from each other from your deck to the hand. So you basically, at the end of that, you put it on the bottom of your deck. And that's the point that I was getting to. You're going to draw the 9s. You have to get it like out of your hand. I'm not playing Kajikiru Curse. I think that's how you say the card. It's a level 9 trade-in. That's not good. because if I'm not playing multiple Halas, it's not going to help me any to dump it in the graveyard. It's not helping me anymore, right? So I feel like this is really important, so I feel like you have to play 3. So it's still open opinion on that. The most powerful spell in the deck, actually, is Monstrosity, because the 2-card combo basically is these two. If I have these two, if I get to Mechaba, if I in any way, shape, or form I get to Mechaba and I activate this and it resolves, the game is over. Literally, I've never lost a game where these two happened. So basically, really quick, I don't need to do a combo. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But you guys know how it goes. You normal summon Alistair, you search your Invocation, then you get rid of it for all Mirage. Then you get rid of that for Secure Gardener. Then you fuse, you make Mechaba. And then after you have Mechaba on the field, you activate Monstrosity. And because he's a 9, you special summon 2 generators. And then you have so much card advantage that it's not even going to be funny. Because if I special summon, let's say a card like Mardell, most of the time on the first turn, I'm summoning Mardell so I can get the field spell. Or if I have the field spell, I'm searching one of the traps that you'll see in a moment. But that's the fast way of explaining the whole point to the deck. Like literally, that's the whole point to the deck. So moving on from there, yeah, Monstrosity is insane. But if you also brick, this can also help you on brick because it can special summon a generator out of your hand that you may have drawn. So if you can't get to a 9, you can at least get a 9 out of your hand. So all that to say, the card is nuts, folks. I've always thought this card was insane. The first time I saw it, I knew it was insane. It was just that, like, nobody plays level 9s outside the True King stuff. And then level 9 decks started to become a thing. And so, you know, it's going to keep going. You know, Datascape is coming out. That's going to be another level 9 deck. So I highly recommend picking this card up always for the future reference. I highly recommend it. Like, not even a question. And then rounding out the spells, I played Upstart and I played Terraforming. 39 card deck, Terraforming, because you're playing a deck full of field spells. Really briefly, Generator boss fight. So the field spell, your opponent has to draw. If you don't open the field spell, this card is going to force them into the field spell and force them into drawing, which is perfect for what you need. And this is why you don't have to play set rotation, because you just play a ton of these. And that way, if I don't get to the field spell in my natural hand, or I don't get it with a Terraforming, or I don't hit it with an Upstart, or I'm not getting to it in my deck, I'm still going to activate this. Now, granted, yes, you're giving your opponent an extra card in a deck that may take your head completely off, like Dragon Link, but there's also the high probability that if you VFD'd them, they're not going to do anything anyway. Sometimes. Not all the time true, but most of the time it is. And then last but not least, Generator Boss Room, rounding out the 40 cards. Boss Room changes effects. So again, I'll read it for you. When your opponent activates a card or effect, in response to the activation of a generator card or effect, whether that's a monster, whether that's the field spell itself, whether that's the trap card, anything that resolves, you know, as long as it's on the same spell speed. If this card, you activate it, you chain that to it, and it's going to change the effect to where you both draw a card, which I really, really like because I'm playing hand trap. So sometimes it literally has happened where I change something and then I draw a hand trap. And there's some ruling disputes, like if somebody gammas you on a generator effect and then you activate Boss Room, the gamma's going to stick to their hand, just for future reference if that ever actually comes up. And there's plenty of more cards I could go over, but as far as Boss Room is an insane card, guys. I'm like not even joking. Like I said, always with the side deck, it's really like subjective to whatever you have around you. So it's just a lot of what do I play against a lot. I play against a lot of combo. I want to be able to control. I think the most important thing is I hate back row decks. This deck is going to struggle with back row decks and going second. So I just put in a bunch of stuff to get rid of a whole lot of back row. And then impermanence is impermanence. You know, I feel like I wanted to main it, but I didn't have the space for it. And then Solemn helps you like lock down the games where you know you're going first, because you just take out some of the hand traps that you don't need. Especially, you know, usually it's stuff like Nibiru. Getting in the extra deck, the meat and potatoes of the deck, you play double Mechaba. He's a level 9, like I said before. Purgatrio for the knockout punch. This is a flex spot. I'm trying Kaliga. It could also be the other Invoked. It could also be Nightmare Phoenix. It could also be, if you suck, it could be another Mechaba, but I don't know how you would need another one. It could also be Elysium. It could also be something that could help you if you could figure out a way where if you need an out in any way to a Dragoon, then I would probably put this slot right there. But I like Kaliga because it actually has come up a lot of times where if I have an Omni negate and this card and you can only activate one effect and then I can get rid of this on my turn, then I'm going to be way out ahead. I just like the card, so I always try to justify playing Kaliga. I really enjoy the card. Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus for the links, and Masquerena, Secure Garden, and Almirage. Guys, I want to play Nightmare Phoenix, but like, whatever. You also have rank 9s that kind of help with that, so I felt like I didn't really need it, but also I don't really need Nightmare Cerberus, so I mean, it's all subjective. Jormungandr, it forces your opponent to draw, basically, and it allows you to have a wombo combo on your turn where if you have the Generator boss stage, real quick, just to explain the combo. If you have boss stage on your field, and you have this, and you activate this, and you make both you and your opponent draw, and then you both attach something under him, and then this will trigger and special summon another 9, and then usually in some way, shape, or form, if I special a 9 and I have another way, like I have a Mechaba on the field, you may play into a Nibiru or something, you know, but if you can read that they don't have Nibiru, then you're gonna basically off this card end on 2 rank 9s. I can explain it more in the comments if that made no sense to you. Earth Slicer is really good. So Earth Slicer is like a massively underrated card. So I'll help you guys read it again. Basically, you detach any number of materials from them, and then you target cards on up to the amount that you like detached, and you just blow them off the field. It's insane. The other effect is if this card is in your grave, you contribute 1 Machine Link monster. That's not going to come up in this deck, but if you play all that infinite track stuff, then it's going to matter. I just use it for the massive blowout that he is, and he's a 3100, so it is what it is with that. Also, when he destroys a monster by battle, forgot to mention, so you guys can zoom in. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can attach that monster to this guy as material. So I mean, this card is really stupid. The true king of all calamities, we all know what this is. With some of the new stuff I've seen get revealed in Blazing Vortex, he's gonna get hit. He's literally in artworks of cards, and he's like getting like hit in the head with stuff. So like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. And then Floating Fortress to be able to banish stuff. Dyson Sphere. Some of these are just utility. You're never really gonna do anything besides these 4 really. But these 2. Special a card, and then Dyson Sphere for the randomly, if I can attack directly and hit you for 28, then you just lost the game. And that's the deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and remember what you're supposed to do with those masks. To get one of those masks, you know what you got to do. I'll see you next time, guys. I'm out. YG, baby.